I thought that maybe we could follow it up with a regular discussion with some of the fundamental stages and discuss a little bit about how you can think about this new rather than what practice. So it's my pleasure to invite panelists of sessions that we have. I have called as new opportunities for water informatics and in agriculture, industry and governance. Our first panelist is Nicola Bolla. He is the chief monitoring for Punjab Irrigation Department. In fact, even during the documentary, all the great work that we have seen on monitoring, and he really the leading person in the irrigation department whose vision has sort of resulted in much of this work. So I will invite both of us please to come to the panel. Who is the agribusiness manager at Nestle. And what we thought was that since the panel is about technologies, intersection with governance and industry, so we should have an industry representative as well. Okay. Then we have Dr. Wasit Khan, who is a faculty associate, assistant professor of electrical engineering, and but also a very active member of the center, and our industry representative representing our interests to the world, to the local industry as well as to other organizations. So Dr. Wasit, join the panel. Then we have Dr. Raj Lima. Dr. Raj Lima is here. Again, another faculty member here at Lum. He also is leading a lot of innovative work at the center, but sort of really at the forefront of the technological revolution in some sense. So he will tell us a little bit more about our work, and then I myself. So I purposely did not include any of our international guests, because they're probably exhausted with all their travels and others. But what I wanted to do was to actually give this as a setting for them, so that we can inform, or we can at least get their input on what sort of technologies and what sort of ideas we should be getting a guidance from them while we're discussing this. So let me actually just set the floor and tell you a little bit about what we are actually looking at. So we have looked at a little bit about the history of the basin, and I hope the documentary was able to trace the whole history of water development here. And just immediately before maybe the turn of the 21st century, we witnessed a time of actually decay and mismanagement, so to speak, in which the water sector and the agriculture sector, we were left behind from the rest of the world. And my feeling is that these last years we are sort of in the middle of a resurgence or a renaissance, in which some of the leading technologists in academia, in industry, in government, their efforts are resulting in a sort of comeback. And many of the people who are really in the eye of the storm, I thought that maybe we should invite them over and have some discussion with them to get their input on what's really happening. So of course a lot of innovation is happening in the dairy chain, in industry, like Nestle. The government is taking a lot of initiatives, bringing in these new sort of technologies, and of course new things are happening in academia. For example, a center like us, where we previously had nothing to do with water and agriculture sector, but we are also moving into these sort of things. So we have actually prepared a list of questions for the panelists, and what I will do is that I will throw these questions at the panelists, and you please feel free to pick on whichever that you want to answer. Some of them are targeted towards certain people, as you may have recognized, but others are also welcome to answer these questions. And what I'll also welcome is that the participants, they also participate in the discussion. So let me actually have a round of questions, and then we can open the floor for further questioning, and then we can see how this discussion will be. So my first question to the panelists is that, in your opinion, what are the most pressing requirements of the water governance sector for which innovation needs to come from outside of the traditional water sector, industry and academia? And I think this is a question specifically for both of us. So maybe we can start with both of us.
first of all, I would like to tell something about the irrigation system. Irrigation system, as already mentioned in the movie, that is the largest integrated system in the world which we have. And we also see that there is one milestone in the history of the irrigation system, that is the Indus Water Treaty which took place between Pakistan and India. With this treaty, we lost 3 rivers and we were given the right to the west river, 3 rivers, Chenab, Jhelum and Indus. Basically, it is to hold the Indus system because all other rivers are destroyed. And then we constructed major interventions, in fact, that transferred the water from western river to the eastern rivers. And with this treaty, we constructed 3 reservoirs, 2 major reservoirs, one small reservoir, and link canals, which transfer water from eastern river to the eastern river. Another thing which is very important to note to the audience is what we are supplying water to the farmer. We are supplying water to the farmer only to about 60 to 70%. We call it as, in fact, design irrigation intensity. You may understand this, that if you are the owner of the 100-acre land, then the irrigation department is only supplying water to the 70-acre land in the whole year. Because we are having the 2 main seasons in the whole year, that is one is the Kharif season and other is the Rabi season. So we further divided it into like this, that we supply water to the 40 acres to the Kharif season and 30 acres to the Rabi season. Then if you are the owner of the 100-acre land, then you will have to keep your land free by 60 acres in the Kharif season, 70 acres in the Rabi season. Because we are only supplying water to this, the water is only flowing in the channel only of this region. You can understand well with the, especially of the inheritance with the regions of the land. Now the people cannot afford, the farmers cannot afford to leave their loans vacant, to leave their land vacant. What they do, they are using other methods. They are pumping the groundwater. If the groundwater is not the brackish, marginal earthquake. So the major problem with the irrigation system is that the farmer community needs more water and we are supplying less water. That is wrong. How can we improve this thing? We can only improve this thing if we have the ample storages. We are having only the 2 storages. Whatsoever the water flows in the whole year, we can only store it only for the 30 days. Yes. Only we have the storing capacity of the 30 days as compared to the other world. There are many countries who can store water even up to the 900 days of the average flow. So the major problem, in my opinion, is the lack of storage and the less water which we are supplying to the irrigation farming community. And other problem is the overexploitation of groundwater. Because there is no regulation on the groundwater pumping. Whatsoever the people need, they are pumping the water without knowing its bad impacts. Now what is happening? Even in the Lahore, we are stretching the groundwater without knowing what is the level of groundwater. And this is happening in the agriculture sector. And the people are facing major problems because of the overexploitation of the groundwater. These are the major 2 issues, in my opinion, which the government needs to address if we want to improve the irrigation agriculture productivity.
Thank you, Buddha sir. I would now turn to the industry and sort of a similar question. And I'll read out what the question that I framed, that what are the areas of research and again similar challenges on which academia and researchers, they need to focus their attention to support innovation and productivity enhancement of the agriculture sector.
Thank you very much. Before this, can I answer a little bit more of what was talking point? Because there was a question somewhere in the first half about the theft of the these electronic tools. There was a question probably that if we install the water measurement, if we start water monitoring through such tools, there could be theft. But we see, just last week I was observing with a farmer. He said this man at Nakabikal, where the water discharge goes to the field, he's monitoring water that someone shouldn't block the water. So already some farmer himself or his worker is monitoring, not only the government side, the farmer himself is monitoring. If such device is with to monitor the water flow, so device can inform the farmer that device is not working. It's not giving signal, so someone is removing it, someone has pulled out the cable, and something wrong has happened. So that can save a lot of labor or maybe a pain. Similarly, at our Nestle training farm, we see my colleague, farm manager, he was telling that a couple of years ago, there was a tree fallen in the canal that stopped that was slowing down the water, not stopping all. What he did, he came himself with the farm workers, he removed the tree with great effort, because he knows when some of his area will not be irrigated this week, so we will have a negative impact on the crop. So regarding water governance, we need at farm level, this tool can help a lot. Once we start it, maybe people know this is the water monitoring tool. There will be both kinds. Some will be cleaning out, some will be protecting it. In villages, people know they can take care of their cows, buffaloes. They are not theft. If they are theft, there are solutions. So we should start from somewhere. So this is also need by industry. From industry perspective, we are monitoring water in upstream part as well as downstream part. Then in between are our factories. So, but we realized that not only in factories we can help the society. If we see the food business, we are a food company. In fact, our business is a water business. If 1 liter of milk we are buying from a farmer, it means that is not 1 liter of milk. Behind it, minimum 1,000 to 1,500 liters of water. That's being used for productivity, then the concentrates, feed, rations. So we had started monitoring it quite a couple of years ago through manual methods. So then we requested lumps as well. They are also supporting us. We have started initiated some joint projects for water monitoring at a dairy farm level. How much discharge coming out from the milking parlor, how much slurry coming out from the farm, and how much water being applied to the crops. So we have, as a pilot, we have installed some ultrasonics and we are looking at how we can scale it up. Similarly, with the water sense project which we initiated during the last quarter 2016, and recently we have installed a couple of soil moisture sensors in fields. The concept is our farmers. This is one aspect. We said that we don't have sufficient reservoirs, we don't have sufficient water. On the other side, we are not managing well the soil moisture and the irrigation water. Government has started very good projects in drip irrigation, sprinkler, some other high efficiency irrigation systems, and some laser levelers, and lining up canals, etc. They are very good initiatives. On the other side, we also need to see from a lean methodology, what does a crop need? Sometimes we are just over irrigating the crop and giving a stress, and sometimes we are under irrigating, giving another stress, and that results some adverse effects as well, as we were studying in earlier subject. That creates mycotoxins. Some of the mycotoxins we already have, we are already struggling to control those mycotoxins through crops which enter the food chain, then have some adverse effects on human health, animal health, etc. On the other side, due to climate change, scientists are finding new mycotoxins which we never heard before. Some new things are appearing due to these sudden climatic changes. So such tools which can help us in monitoring of the water level in crops can help a lot. Then the temperature, soil temperature, air temperature, even in dairy sheds to give some cow comfort. We need humidity lockers, monitoring systems, maybe automating the cooling systems. So there is a lot more area. Even we were brainstorming how we can take help from drones in insect control. I saw a documentary in Zurich during my last visit. They are making some small drones which they will be used for security monitoring. If there is some terrorist attack in some building, the policeman will open the briefcase, the hundreds of drones will enter the building and trace the person, so etc. So why not we use such small drones or something like this, some gadgets which could only capture the harmful insects, not the useful. As most of the useful insects, we are also killing through pesticides industry, and we are just spraying without knowing should we kill or not. So we restrict them in that particular season, and then maybe we can leave even harmful. They could be harmful for one time and could be useful for the other time or for other season. So we need to bring in technology which we as an industry feel. And we are talking a lot within our organization about digital agriculture and precision agriculture tools, how we can help our farmer to innovate. Because we are not only food company, we are a farmer company. Food comes from feed, from farmer. If farmer is not improving him, so food will not be improved. So.
Okay, very good. So Musa wants us to design drone strikes for insects. Huh? that's very interesting. And the interesting thing is that the technology really is the same, whether you use it for a military purposes or for these sort of agricultural sort of things. So I would now invoke both of our technologists who are on the panel. You are hearing these needs from the industry as well as from governments. So Bodha Saab is very worried about groundwater, about efficiency of water usage, in bulk irrigation delivery. Mahmood Saab, who is on the field, he wants efficient use of agricultural inputs. So what do you have to offer? Start with Master.
Okay, I would like to mention here that agriculture basically consumes like 95% of the surface water we basically have. So really the efficiency enhancement is very important, and the consumption of the water we are basically doing in the agriculture sector, in the household and industry is extremely important. The solutions are very obvious. A lot of people have already discussed about them. For example, we already have to start from the canal monitoring system. It's not only the canal monitoring system, we really have to close the loop. So far, I think not in Pakistan, in the tributary level, in the water courses level, we have not installed the monitoring system, which has a closed loop system, which basically automates the gates and you measure. So what we are getting right now, we are just monitoring it and saying, okay, so this tributary is designated for 100 cusics of water, and we're getting 80 cusics or 120 cusics, but we are not controlling that. So we have to first close the loop. So first we close the loop, we tell the people, yes, we are saving this much amount of water because of closing the loop. Because monitoring is the only thing. We have to we should be able to make the decision on top of it. So I think we need to ramp up the speed a little bit, and maybe in 1 or 2 years, in some canals, we should be able to close the loop and tell people this is important. Then, of course, the lining of all the water courses, and that is also very important. We have to quantify that. Still, nobody is giving us the information that, okay, what amount of water has been saved. So this is important. And then you go towards all the way to the farmer level, where you have to measure the soil sensing and all that. All that technology exists. So I was reading somewhere that there was a farmer, and one of the Pakistan caretaker finance minister was visiting in Brazil, and he said, we are using very intricate drip irrigation system that was designed by an Israeli company. And we have been able to enhance the efficiency, the consumption of the water, and of course the yield also. And what we do is, a plain everyday lands in my land area, and the excess amount of vegetables or food or whatever they produce, that is exported. And I'm surprised Pakistan has so contiguous irrigation system, and they can do it on a very massive scale. So what I think we have to do is, we know the technology is there, we know the monitoring, and people are doing it. We need to make a business, basically of some model farms, where we develop maybe 100 acres, 1,000 acres, and tell people this is really important, because we have to convince two people. So I think one of the important questions would be that, okay, like big farms, like who have 1,000 acres, or like who are the owners of 2,000 acres, they would be able to do that. But what about those people who basically own 5 acres or 12 acres? How would they be able to basically manage it? So in my opinion, what's important is the technology is out there. The industry, the academia, and the government, they have to join hands together. They have to make a 2 or 3 years plan and make some 5, 6, 7, 8 like model farms and attract investors so that they can come and see there is a potential for the business. Because the small farmers won't be able to invest. So if I have some money, I see that, okay, I would be able to earn or make like X amount of money by putting this much amount of money, I would be able to invest, and probably would be providing the same precision agriculture system to small farmers. And I can basically rent them and get some money out of it. So right now, no investor is basically investing here and taking care of it. So we have to develop some model farms in different areas, and then we have to convince our farmers, because the technology is there. People are making use of it. I mean, the guy in Brazil or in Australia, they are making use of the technology. It's all about that we have to adopt the technology. We have to convince the government to invest the money to, to install all those monitoring systems on canals, so that they do it and see, yeah, this is how much amount of water we will save. Then on the other side, we have to attract the investors. How would we do that? We need to make a business case. Maybe in the WISS we can have a business developer from the business school, then the economist, and then the technologist also. We can make a study like 2 or 3 years, because you have to do it 2 or 3 years to make sure that you do it. So that's very important, so that those precision agriculture systems, because this is where 95% of the water is being consumed in agriculture. So we can save a lot of water if we really efficiently use it. So this is important, bringing the investor, because that is the self-sustaining model. Otherwise, it's not going to, it may be difficult to basically help on that. So building, attracting the investors, and then making a business and telling them, and inviting the small farmers, if you do this, because people are reluctant. I was in Mehran University, and there was a farmer. He was a professor also, and he also used to own some land. So we're discussing what kind of technology we should go for. There was one canal monitoring system, the other was precision agriculture, where you can measure the soil, different parameters, moisture, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and all that. So I said, would you be willing to implement this technology in your farm? He said, my father, if he's willing, then we can do that. Otherwise, and how would they be, convinced? They can only be convinced by numbers, if you have the business case over there. So this is what we are missing very badly everywhere. So the center over there, they haven't done it yet. We haven't done it here. We need to basically send the message across to all those farmers. This is important, because people have done it. We have to replicate it here, and we have to do it quickly, because we have to save our water, and we are running out of it. So that's very, very important. And so I think making a good business plan, that's key.
So I think most of them are the electrical engineering students here, sitting, many of them. It's a mix. So all of you are hearing that there are a variety of challenges which are present in our agricultural sector, like monitoring of water, monitoring of crops. All this boils down to developing sensing technology. I would say there is no definite answer that which sensing technology is best for all the problems. one sensing technology would be good for, let's say, monitoring of water. One sensing technology would be good for monitoring of crops. But important point is that we need to monitor all these water in crops to project that what's happening in our country. That's very important. And a lot of times I get this question that, okay, these sensing technologies would be existing, somewhere in the world, just get them here and do this. But the reality and the challenge, what I believe, is that all these problems exist here in our country, in Pakistan. We need to be the solution developers of these problems, because all those technologies which have been developed abroad, they might not be fully aware of what kind of problems we have. So in a nutshell, that as an engineers, we should be developing these things. And I will take this to another level. So far we are talking about these challenges at a government level, or organizational level. I would say at an individual level, if we talk about, if somehow I have a sensor which can scan the water, the glass of water, or the food which I'm taking, and tell me whether should I take it or not. Because if you go to the hospitals, more than 60 to 70% patients are because of unsafe drinking water. So if we have some kind of technology which is cheap and available to the individual masses to scan their food or water, that will be having a huge impact on our whole this food water nexus thing. So yeah.
Okay, very good. So we've heard from our industry and government representatives that they have these needs. And these guys here, our colleagues here, they think that we can do it here in Pakistan. There are a number of things that can be done. But let us hear from our audience on what they think about how can we connect, how can we make a connection between the two. Because that is important, and I think especially in relation to the topics that we are discussing in this particular workshop, when we have a portfolio of technologies, like for example, Imran has one contamination sensor to develop, and then there is a drone which is being developed by another colleague, and Wasif has some wireless technology that can be married to it. Then we can give to a systems analyst like Afreen and then Elena to help us optimize or help us plan what mix of these different technologies can be deployed. But I wanted to get a sense of what the audience think of what are the key sort of relationships, or how we can close this between the needs and the providers. So these two people are giving them their needs, and in us and our colleagues, we have something to provide. So how do you think we can best connect these two? Let me actually just go one by one. Okay, so the format is going to be the following. Let me actually take 2 or 3 questions all together, and then we can come back to the panelists and maybe we can answer those questions together. So,
It will be very short. From Bodha Sahab, very crisp question that we have learned from WIT that they are practically in the field for monitoring some irrigation systems. So is there any bottleneck to absorb and adopt such technologies on a wider scale by the government, because irrigation department is a government sector? With Nabobilai Sahab, a small query, you are introducing technology. At the same time, would it not be resulting in an expensive end product for users? And number 3 with WASIF. You have a bit indicated, but my worry is about adoption of the latest technologies of irrigation, which are water conservant and like this. So what are the hurdles in market penetration with respect to our cultural as well as formal pockets?
These are actually very big questions. So
you very much. I'm Dr. Ishaq Asif, climate change, PhD in climate change effect assessment. Actually, our farmers are suffering from extreme changes in climatic conditions, and even in a single country, at the same time, our farmers are facing from the two opposites. Somewhere in Punjab, we are facing floods, and somewhere in Sindh, we are suffering from a drought. We need some climate change resilient or climate smart agriculture technologies mixed with the multidisciplinary approaches, farmer friendly approaches, so that they can work in a better way. So we are lacking communication between different aspects of subjects. We recently seen environmental sciences departments here, before it was not there, and lacking linkages between them. I think it needs to be improved.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Abdullah and I am BS Electrical Engineering student from Government College, University Lahore. My question is for Mr. Bodla. Sir, last day I was studying that India is teaching its farmers for cultivation and regarding watering their crops. Why don't government or you people related to this field have any program that teaches the farmers to that what crop should be harvested in their land? If the crop is water loving, then the area should be, if it's in near Indus River or there near any big river, then that should be promoted there. But if the crop is not water loving, we should cultivate in that suitable area. And next, I want to discuss with Mr. Wasit. He said that he was asking for a project. Sir, we recently made a group. We submitted our FYPs, and one of our group, from my colleagues, they had made a sensor project, smart sensing project, that actually senses the water level, and then using GPS, it communicates with the owner or the related person that whether water is required or not. And that's much cost effective. Why don't we people sit together and make it at commercial level so that we can implement this project on real basis? And similarly, Mr. Imran Chimasa, you are right, 14,000 people are dying daily because of unhealthy water. And even China, as Mr. Alina has said, more than 50% of its population is not getting healthy water. And I myself, with my group member, have made a FYP related to water, and that very cost effective, that gets 2 or 3 parameters. The most famous is pH, because most of the diseases are related to the pH. Then my same question is, why don't we sit together and implement that project?
Okay, very good. So I think we will start with Bodla Saab, because I think the question that was raised is the key question. That now that we are having these pilot demonstrations, some of the people are demonstrating technology. Bodla Saab is going ahead with his units deploying these sensors. Well, do you see any bottleneck of the very wide scale adoption of these technologies? And I think that also relates to another question that you asked about the education of the farmers. You said, well, really the question that you are asking is that, for example, why are we, for example, cultivating sugarcane in a country which is water into? But who is stopping us? So बताएं ना, कौन है?
The first question is related to the use of technology. Irrigation department is using the technology, first thing I want to mention. Irrigation is the first department in the government of Punjab who developed the irrigation management information system in 2006. We are collecting a data of about 3,000 channels, I mean about more than 6,000 sites on daily basis. And after carrying out certain analysis, we disseminate the data on the website also on the same day. And it is a unique system in the world where the data of more than 6,000 sites are collected on the same day and disseminated on the same day also. It is a unique system in the whole world. As regards the technologies, we are using the technology, we are developing the decision support system. We are developing the decision support system, that's how we can manage the water in a better way. And that decision support system will be on, will start its function after July this year. So after 2 months, we will be using the decision support. We are also installing the real-time monitoring flow systems in the Punjab also. And for this, we have taken one pilot project that is in the district Bahawalnagar. And we are installing this system on 139 sites. And with this system, we will be able to collect the data on the real-time basis. So, irrigation department is going inspection. And we are also going to develop the CS4 system for the flood management also. And that will be very useful for the flood mitigation also. So we are using all kinds of technology which is available in the world, and we are closely working with Dr. Bhuvakar. And if someone asks Dr. Bhuvakar who was pushed to this side, towards this side, so I may claim that I was the person who initiated and asked him to do, and even to set up this kind of center in the launch. We are, in fact, another thing which is very important to us, of course the technology helps us for the better water distribution, for the better water measurements. If we cannot measure the water, then we cannot actually distribute the water in an equitable manner. But the most important thing is for the farming community is that they need adequate water and they need the reliable water at the proper times. And other thing is they need the water in equitable manner. These are the basic primary things from the farmer side. And adequate water we can only supply it if we have more students. And the reliable water also better. In the Pakistan, the main problem is this: at the majority of the wheat crop, we are having very less water in the tanks, and especially when we sow the grain crop, I mean the cotton crop, even we are having very less water. This is the system constraint which we are facing, and that's the reason, in fact, that sector should work on it. That such type of crop should be introduced, such type of seed should be introduced. They require that part. As regards your questions about the education of the farmers, in fact, there is an agriculture department also. We are up to the outlet levels. And at the water course level, at the farm level, there is an agriculture department. That is the extension side of the agriculture department. They are having the field assistance. They move to the field and they educate the farmer. They also even arrange the seminars at the different levels. They educate the farmer which crop is needed for them. And definitely they are working on the water farm management from their side.
Let me have a little bit of a follow-up question, and let me actually push you a little bit on the question that you were asking, if you allow me, sir. When you will have these monitoring technologies on the government website, I mean, this will surely expose a few things that people would probably don't want to know. I mean, we won't ask you very directly, but just as a general question, do you see any opposition in sort of?
You must be listen the word telemetry system. Telemetry system was installed at the branches. This was installed at the branches to, in fact, to enhance the cost building measures among the branches. But unfortunately, it did not work well. And whenever we use the work, that's the reason we are using the real-time monitoring flow system rather than the telemetry system. Actually, they are both are the same thing. And when people do not know why the system fails. And definitely the government cannot understand why the telemetry system failed. Because in fact nobody wanted to run the system. That's the main reason that the system failed. There was no fault in the system. If there was some fault, definitely there was a possibility for its improvement. Whatsoever I know about the system was working well. there were minor problems. But electricity as a system, I mean, was disconnected, and there was a backup arrangement on the batteries, and it worked for about for the next 7 days or 8 days, and then the electricity was not stored. Ultimately, all the batteries that they took were out of order. And after that, nobody tried to shut down the system. That is the main cause of the failure of the telemetry system. And when we started the real-time monitoring for instrument, the main threat which we faced, the main problem which we were facing was that physical security of the system. Because whenever you are going to install this system, the people who are far away from the drawing more water, they don't want to install, they do not don't want to have such a system which distributes the water equitably. And the main thing was the physical security. How can we improve its physical security? And now we have tried to install such a system that the physical security of the system is sure. Otherwise, that system is available out the world and is working well.
That's very good. Mehboob Sahab. So again, rephrasing that question or making it a little bit more difficult. Well, Nestle is a big player. You will have your fill of, you can install whatever you want. What about the small farmers? I mean, are you thinking about them, about this technology adoption? And when Nestle and then the Agros and the Pepsi and whoever, they will have these systems, won't it be creating even a higher barrier for these small farmers to enter into the market and compete with you? So how do you see this technology adoption? I mean, you as a responsible part of the whole community, not just for yourself, but for others as well.
This is a very good question. In fact, let me explain a little bit background how we are working. Starting from soil moisture, we have one company from Australia who are selling systems in Pakistan. So far, in last so many years, they could only sell 3 systems in Pakistan more than because cost is very high. One was purchased by us at our farm. We costed around 500,000 So we realized it will not, if we see the ROI, it will not give returns in so many years, next few decades. So it will not work for the farmer. But we started thinking on it. We discussed with Plum and some of the universities, and we got some partners. Plum is our major partner for developing that solution to make it cost effective. And the University of Pau from France, we had an MOU with them. And then Fuzia is European NGO, did some work in Africa already. To initiate the project, even we escalated to our headquarters in Switzerland. They awarded us 70,000 Swiss francs to make it affordable, to make it much economical for the farmer, which we are foreseeing after deployment, successful deployment in field, that it will not cost more than 5,000 rupees. See how brutally some people in the world have charged for technology. That the selling even outdated solution in 500,000 rupees. So even my lump colleagues after implementation, they were telling me that it will be even much lesser in cost than in future because we had imported few parts from France. Similarly with some other animal tags which we are inshallah will be starting very soon after this. The companies in the world, like we have partnership with some other companies, we install at our farm for trial, not for farmers. That they are charging at 20,000 rupees for one tag, but we are estimating that we will make it affordable, less than 1,000 rupees for one cost. So if at these costs we see the ROI, that's too high. For example, if some farmer has invested 5,000 rupees for 1 acre, 2 acre plot, and he is able to save even one stress. We have so many reference papers, international papers, which say that one water stress to a crop can lead to minimum 10% yield reduction. So normally, how a farmer is irrigating the crop? he looks at the stress symptoms. So the leaves are shrinking, or sometimes the soil is too much dry. When stress is already on the ground, the yield has already gone through 10% reduction. So it means, for example, we are starting from base graph, which is very critical in irrigation. So see how many times we irrigate and how many times we give the stress. So might be after this we are forcing that we will have good impact on yield improvement, and on the other side the quality, the microtoxins. So cost is the first thing. Farmers see two things only: cost and convenience. Convenience, which I see that in near future farmers will be looking for digital farm management, controlling the farm from mobile apps. How from mobile app? If I am a farmer, I would like to see how much feed is loaded in my trolley to feed to the animals, so that I would immediately see the alert on my cell phone that this is 10% lesser, 5% lesser than last year, or maybe 5% more than last year. So either wasting money or giving stress to animals. So farmers will be dependent on digital. If a man sitting on a donkey cart and is using mobile phone to communicate across the country, so why not that man can use technology for controlling the irrigation and some other way. We see a lot of value in the future. It will be a digital revolution. We honestly bring down the cost of production, and we don't allow so much technology cost. And from Nestle perspective, we are subsidizing to develop solutions, open source solutions, not closed, so that to avoid that cost of technology, cost of solution.
Very good. I think we would like to hear the technologist's perspective on this as well. But what I'm hearing is that these Nestle people and these irrigation officials, they are telling you that if there are young electrical engineers out there who are graduating, I don't think you should be looking for a job with Nestle. I think you should set up your shop and develop a business for these 5,000 rupee sensors which we have developed for you. There is no rocket science in that. You can do that. I mean, the drone technology that we demonstrated to you, it's out there. I mean, what's stopping anyone from setting up a shop, rent a drone, and have your field tested for NPK measurement or whatever, much the same way as you would go to the lab and get your sugar tested or whatever. I mean, there is a very strong business case in that. And I think whoever enters that market now will be actually having a very flourishing business very soon. So there seems to be plenty of opportunity even on things which are right on the shelf.
So I think that's very true. So I think answering your question, mostly that has been answered. When I joined as a faculty member, I was also thinking, okay, I'll develop this technology and I'll go anywhere and it will be sold. It's not like that. I mean, any technology, it has to be demand driven, or you have to make a business case for that. So if you want to commercialize it and nobody wants to buy it, like I told you the example, that was in Sindh, and that person and his father was owning the land, and he didn't say me the clear answer that they would adopt the technology, right? So that's why I mentioned earlier, there has to be a study or business or model farms where you need to say, hey, my sensor is low cost, 2,000 rupees, and I mean integrated with the whole command and decision system, that gives you this much benefit. If you can show that, then I think Nestle and smaller farms and farmers all will go. I think, coming to your question also, the barrier is of course the cost. So the indigenization is the key part. And maybe some of the companies, they may not have their R&D division, and like the WISS, they are developing the technology at a very lower cost. We can do it here. And then once we do that, and in collaboration with the industry and the government organizations, once we make the business case, we will be able to sell it. But first we have to show that it really benefits. Like if someone, like you mentioned, like if you can get a sensor, 10,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees, nobody is gonna buy it, right? So maybe we need to visit what they are doing, because in Brazil or in other countries like Australia, they are earning money, right? So they have installed that drip irrigation system. So for your question also, for the small farmers, maybe they cannot afford the expensive drip irrigation system. So some investor has to come in and offer the solution like rent a car. I mean, you cannot afford a car, but there is an investor who has 10 cars and he can basically offer the services same way, but we have to attract that investor. For that, the technology has to be demonstrated completely in the, which I think probably have not shown in Pakistan yet, right? So it has to be completely developed, shown, and if you show that, I'm sure there are a lot of venture capitalists coming in and they will support. If you show them you can give them some money back, they will support. That's the key point. I mean, we have to basically grow. Otherwise, I have interacted with so many people in the industry. Because of that industry, academia, liaison, the committee I'm in, the only thing, and I have come to know, and this is the crux of that, developing the technology is not a problem. You can do that. All of us are smart. Selling it is a problem. We have to make a business case. If you cannot make it, you cannot sell it. 1 year back, I was on the other side, but now when I talk to someone, I always think about this. Maybe I can make a UPS and I can save you 500 rupees for that and stop importing the kits from China, because that is where you can get, if you sell 50,000 units, multiply that by 500 rupees, you will save. That is, we should offer the businessmen the same. They will invest. If you show, they will invest. So I think that's the only thing, cost reduction. And another thing I want to just mention here, like laser leveling. When I went there, somebody told if you do the laser leveling for the first time, it scrapes away the top surface. So that is the most fertile thing. So maybe in the first year you can you see the decrease in the yield. But after 2 or 3 cycles, you have to show that this is the increase you have seen in over 2-3 years. And that's how it's important. And you also have to see, that is already, for example, the seed development. That's also very important. Pakistan suffered, tremendous loss in cotton last year. Like $2 billion we lost. We used to have 14 million bales or something like that. This year we just got 10 million, just because our seed was not properly tested and they couldn't resist the weather or the pest or whatever. So it has to be at every step. The monitoring, those agencies who are approving those seeds, because that's our technology driven, right? They are meant to increase the yield. If they cannot do that, it can devastate your economy. If you earn like $12-13 billion by exporting your textiles, and if you cannot meet, the textile factory's requirement, what would you do? So that one, and then the technology demonstration and the meeting with. Thank you.
Very good. So before I hand over to Dr. Imran Chima, I wanted to relate a personal experience of our interaction with Bodla Saab. So a few years back, when we started to work on this area, when we started to, again, with no experience at all into this area, and of course no knowledge, and I still do not claim much knowledge of the water sector in Pakistan, we were just proposing these closed-loop control technologies. And wherever, because we saw that at work in Australia, where the recall system that was this and that, and people just told us that, well, you're crazy. You have a Varabandi-like system, open-loop system. The system is already in shortage. So what would the closed-loop system bring to you? Had I just listened to that, I would have just given up and said, okay, I'll just go back and just do my old robotics things and publish papers in some obscure journal and just be happy with my life. I think it was a great luck for me to meet 2 people. So one of them are here, Bodla Saab, and the other one is Khalid Motazullah at EU, who was leading EU at that time. Now, again, both of them, they told me that this was rubbish, the whole closed loop system, but I think they were smart enough to tell me that, you're thinking about this closed loop thing. Well, to close the loop, you need to do the monitoring as well. You have to have the sensor before you actually close the loop. So, okay, we can give you a site. So Bodla Saab said, well, we can give you a site where you can have your whatever. You can write your papers and you can have your students train on these loop closures and gate automation or whatnot, and you can do that. But build these sensors for us, the monitoring part, because that is part of the closed loop technology. Now, I'm relating to you this experience for two reasons. First of all, There will be people who will be, if you are new in the field, they will just sort of tell you that whatever you have is completely bogus and you don't need to get into this. I think this is all completely nonsense. You just have to need to go to the right people to get the advice, and then you can start your thing. So this is very, very important for the researchers to be able to connect to these people. Secondly, I think once you get to know the right needs, it becomes completely evident that even these monitoring technologies, for example, I mean, these were off the shelf. But Bodna Saab could have just maybe gone to industry and buy it for how much, like $10,000 per sensor, $50,000 per sensor. How would he be able to scale that up to the entire basin? And that is where the innovation comes in. And this actually throws the technical challenge to the faculty, to the researchers, well, okay, now that this need is there, the cost needs to be brought down, well, what technological wizardry do you have? And that is actually perfect for writing your papers and getting your promotions and winning your tenures and so on and so forth. So I wanted to relate this experience and also to acknowledge and thank the input by these great people as well, who instead of just shutting me off, they actually guided me on what areas to focus on. So with this sort of a personal sort of a testament, I would give to the last word to Dr. Imran Chima. And again, he has all sorts of these very, very fancy ideas. Well, give us something that works.
I just wanted to say a few words before we close out. To our students who are doing their final year projects or master's thesis, they need to think that their project or their thesis, how it can solve a societal problem. That is the key thing. And as Abu Bakr said, that this is the time you can get into this agricultural monitoring business. And the starting point would be your thesis and projects. It's very important. Imagine that every year, 1 or 2 companies spin out of your, how many projects we do in a year, 500, thousands of the projects, in next 8-10 years, that would be way higher. So you need to, the idea is that don't try to do some flashy projects, try to solve a small societal problem. Yeah, that's what.
Similar to this, we think like starting from soil modeling sensor. If electrical engineers and along with they make team together, even 2 people team, they can make a huge difference at this point. So maybe we can start from this and come to us. We can take as partners from the beginning because we need commercial partners.
As I already mentioned, we are going to start the real-time instrumentation on one now system. And after that, we are having the 24 main classes. So I want to say, in fact, we started the 5 projects. After we start, we will be extending over the entire education network in the whole Punjab. So we are having a great opportunity to work on the sensors. If you grab the sensors, then
So both of you remember that conversation 5 years back. So both of us said, well, why can't we have this cottage industry? He used the word cottage industry. But really not to mean that what we are doing here is inconsequential. It really means this is something that we can build in-house. And I can assure you that whatever he needs can be done here in Pakistan at a cost adapted to his particular need and situation without looking towards anywhere else, generating the business here within the country. So I think this is a great example of what the possibilities are.
If you want to work the real, if you want to have a project, and if you work on the real life project, and resolve the problem for the market, are related to your own your domain, definitely it will work. If you just carry out the project for the practical purpose, definitely it does not work for this way. That is very important. And my if anybody wants to just discuss it about the project, I can give you a lot of information.
Okay. Okay, before I close, again, I'm looking towards our speakers and lecturers if they have any interesting comments or questions, and then we will close off. So, Dr. Asim Siddiq.
So thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation. I just wanted to make a comment. It was very interesting to hear your thoughts on the need for technology innovation. I really want to further the comments that we really heard here, and I'll share a story of my own. So, talking about local innovation, this is what we say, right? So we need to innovate locally that fits our own needs, and the innovation should ideally come from people who are locally residing. I think that's absolutely critical. Two things that I'll share with you. I'm working with a student at MIT. She's actually, Aisha Shahid, Dr. Bakar is very helpful in her visit to Kenya last week. She collected data from crop reporting services and has been analyzing it. And it's basically data of 1,200 villages sampled all over Punjab. It's supposed to be representative of the province. This statistic may not be new for some, but perhaps new for others. That 95% of the farms are less than 20 acres. Right? 95% of our farms are less than 20 acres. So we are, as a province, are not talking about thousands and thousands of acres being owned by people. As Gulal Saab mentioned, because of division of property and land, the current situation is that our farms are actually very small in size. That makes a big impediment when we start talking about expensive technologies, right? These farmers are not going to buy large, expensive equipment. So therefore, the need for Punjab, the need for our system, is to think about technologies that are low cost, locally developed, and perhaps paired with innovative service solutions as well. So we need products as well as services. So we heard the rental idea. Of course, there are many other types of ideas out there where, a company can perhaps develop equipment and then perhaps lease it or just provide services with it to these small farmers that can perhaps use that equipment or get the benefit from that innovation at a much lower cost. We already know that, tube wells are shared by farmers and so forth. So there are already models in existence. So for every new technology, you have to think through creatively what the business case is and what is the unique need for Punjab, given the small farm size that we have on average here. So that's one thing I want to advocate for, certainly. And then two, many technologies that come from abroad, many of them are actually expensive because they're over-designed. They are using very expensive parts, the tolerances are very high, the accuracy is extreme. So in some sense, it is actually much more than what you need. So one of my colleagues at MIT, he's developing a new water pump. He's actually working with places in India, and he basically observed that a lot of the pumps are expensive because they originally came from the oil and gas industry. A lot of the traditional water pumping applications were developed essentially from the oil and gas industry where the tolerances are extremely high, the pumps are supposed to work in very intense conditions, and hence, if you're talking about serious groundwater pumping, typically the pumps that are available on the market are expensive. Now I know Pakistan has been importing Chinese pumps and so forth, but essentially he thought that if he can bring the tolerances down, and perhaps even if he can change the material out of which these pumps are made, even injection molding, things that one would not even think about, plastics, right? So do we really have to need metals? So you start questioning actually fundamentals of the design and the components of systems that we take for granted. Because we have to look back at what were these systems designed for, and do they really have to be this way? So be, bold, be creative, be innovative, and question. How can we do this better? And how can we do this differently? And how can we do this best for our particular needs? So with this, I will.
Okay, so there is one person who has been very, very sort of persistent. So can you just hear your last question very, very quickly? We're over time now, but please be very quick. We have been already late.
सर मेरा सवाल सिर्फ इतना सा है कि हम एग्रीकल्चर प्रिसीजन के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं, इरिगेशन डेवलपमेंट कर रहा है, ठीक है, एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट डेवलपमेंट कर रहा है, लेकिन इन सब चीज़ों से हट के हम सॉइल सर्वे को नहीं छोड़ सकते। अगर हमें सॉइल की उसकी केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज, फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज का पता नहीं होगा तो हमें नहीं पता कि वो वहाँ पे हमें क्या क्रॉप्स जो है वो करनी है और कितनी प्रोडक्शन हमने उससे लेनी है।
Great. I think this is a very, very good input. So I think agriculture department and this is one of the examples of what.
सर इसमें जो इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर electrical engineer can design an instrument which we can bring at the farm, pick the soil and test at the same time its pH, its EC, its organic matter content, NPK and micronutrients. And same like we can pick the plant part and make a solution to test the availability of nutrients in the plant part.
All right. So again, I think hopefully this panel will generate all of these conversations in addition to the computational technologies and the algorithms and the systems analysis and the remote sensing technologies that we use.
इंडिया में शुरू किया है कि मोदी की जस्ट गुजरात में अपने सोलर पैनल किया ग्राउंड वाटर कॉम्प्लेक्स और ये बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है और बड़ा सक्सेसफुल जा रहा है वो तो बहुत आप लोग का सक जाएगा तो वह है ये आपको